So, I was initially going to do a little trailer reaction and breakdown for a new indie series I'd heard about called SoulMart. And it is a new indie production being made as a 12-episode 3D Blender animation. I wasn't aware of the YouTube channel that posted it, but apparently it's DillonGoo Studios. Nice. And as someone who's not entirely plugged into necessarily the anime world, I could see it had a nice 3D aesthetic that kind of reminds me of the Trigun remake, a good chunk of Ruby, and sort of the Zenless Zone Zero as well. I can't tell you exactly what it was about the aesthetic or the vibe, but you could see it, right? It's there. And then I looked into it and realized that DillonGoo is actually a content creator involved, which is very, very cool. Being able to see a little bit of the rise of indie animation coming in and content creators finding their own way to output their own animations is really cool to see, and this one's clearly gaining a little bit of traction. And looking into the channel further, they have a rife history with their fingers in a lot of pies that makes this project all the more exciting, because they've got a whole plethora of projects that they've worked on already. They've done a music video for Iron Mouse, some genuine Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail work, which clearly connects to my ZZZ connection. And very clearly, this is the work of someone who's been doing animations themselves for absolutely ages. I also came to find out they just outright were one of the lead fight animators for Ruby Season 3, so there's where that connected to. They also worked on Anime Cats, they're a VTuber called Professor Goo, and then I found another detail that made me have to dig in and do a little bit more research, because looking into it further, this new indie project is connected to Geeks Plus. Oh hey, I've heard of those guys. They do indie stuff now? You see, this is part of a new thing called GeeXProductions, a division that's built to help creators fully leverage their intellectual property. From here, I then realized that this connects to another project that I heard about on the Winds but hadn't actually looked into, that being good old Giguk. As I'd heard that the anime reviewer himself, Gant of the Trash Taste podcast, is making an anime as well. And again, it is another YouTube creator opportunity coming out. Barn is the name of that one. And more so than that, I know that one got a lot of popular attention, but on top of that, there's even a third production being made by a third creator as well at GeeXProductions. So suddenly, this single trailer reaction I had prepared is a far bigger prompt than I could chew on as a simple trailer reaction. So, now I've had a little bit of time to process more of the research behind it, so let's get a little more into it, because this is seriously exciting animation industry stuff. As it's a new breaching corner of indie animation, even if it is 2/3 3D. Oh no. Sorry, I'm a little biased. I like SoulMart the best so far. So, it all starts going a little bit back with Geeks Plus Inc., which is a creator management and integrated marketing agency. Also, they're a subsidiary of Dwango Co. Limited and Kadokawa Corporation. Good to know. I think they're most known in association with the Trash Taste podcast. But either way, they are bigging up now, such that they are opening a new division, and it was all introduced at a panel at Anime Expo. I was gonna go this year, and then I didn't because of, well, you can guess. Either way, this is now a major indie company division goal campaign that I'm absolutely going to be paying attention more to now, and we've got a few quotes regarding this new expansion that I'll share to you now, because I'm already covering all the likes of Disney, Pixar, DreamWorks, Sony, and all the rest of it, Amazon and Netflix. But Geeks Production is absolutely going on that list in the indie category, right alongside Glitch Productions, which I need to keep up on. So, what we've got from the Chief Agency Officer and Executive Producer at Geeks Plus Inc. is, as we continue to search for ways to add value for our creators and brand partners, we're excited to utilize our unique position as part of the Kadokawa Group to enter the world of original anime IP creation, which will allow us to play a much more integrated role in developing creative projects from start to finish. Wow. We're in a fortunate position to be connected to some of today's best internet-native creators with an organic audience fan base, and combined with our access to a strong network of professionals in the anime industry, we're able to help bring our clients' ideas to life in a collaborative, industry-backed way that's seldom been seen before. Whew. I know for practically 2 decades now, there's been the dream of what if the YouTubers make it in the industry, whether it's film production stuff like Freddy W or Corridor Digital, individual voice actors being able to be voice actors in industry, and a lot of times there's been failures and hurdles along the way. Ruby and Rooster Teeth and Amazon and Warner Brothers. But Geeks Plus seems to be the new lightning rod specifically centered in Japan and Tokyo for that anime connection that's apparently a lot more open. And that's so cool to hear. And the fact that they're coming out of the gate with 3 already is just crazy. To me, at least. I don't know, this is like proper clashing 2 worlds of mine together, so of course I'm gonna be excited about this. I haven't got any animes in mind to pitch. I won't be doing that. And apparently, these 3 products are just the start, as more is expected as they expand their roster of anime-based talent, which is interesting to hear. I can't wait to hear all the speculation on future people they're thinking of adding to the roster. So let's hear a little bit more details about these 3 projects we're working on. So, of course, we've got SoulMart. Created by DillonGoo Studios, this begins at a convenience store in the not-so-distant future. Strange products have been appearing on the shelves, and notorious graffiti artist Kiero Kamiya finds himself hooked on an energy drink that will kill him if he falls asleep. He's forced to enlist the help of Serena, the convenience store's timid yet demon-obsessed cashier, and an unemployed demon named Rake to uncover the truth behind these mysterious and deadly products before his next sleep becomes permanent. Ooh, I love it. What is it about creators and making productions about don't fall asleep? Either way, for the most part, this is actually the production that has the least amount of detail about it. We only really have this synopsis, the trailer of course that we have to react to, and then details about DillonGoo themselves. Though there is a little bit of a rabbit hole there. As I said, there's a lot of history. Described as a 3D animator, tech innovator, and storyteller, founder of DillonGoo Studios, his team develops custom technology to advance 3D anime. Very much running on the idea of, if you know how to, do it yourself. Producing original IPs and client projects, so they were already a little bit connected to the industry. Also, they're a VTuber called Professor Goo, sharing animation breakdowns and industry insights. I wasn't aware of them before. I love watching creators all the time. That's like, I don't watch TV, I only watch animated movies and YouTubers. It's a choice. But also then on the other end, as we mentioned earlier, they were the lead fight animator for a season of RWBY and also worked on Anime Cats. And while I think I've got a bit of a bias towards this show in particular because it is in 3D, I'm a big fan of video game cutscenes. Like my favorite Spider-Man story is the 10-hour one of the PS4 game. So to see a show that looks like an endless video game cutscene, the likes of Genshin, Honkai, and Zoneless Zero, yeah, I'm absolutely on board with that. Very much has a little bit of that kill the kill vibe in the demon designs. And just seems like a fun time all around. You then got the other big major project, really pushing on the boundary between creators and anime industry, as this is just outright a full circle, because you've then got Barn. Created by Giguk, is set in the fictional world of Euthania, which is connected to Japan via a warp gate. The story follows 2 protagonists who leave their birthplaces in search of a place where they truly belong. The short anime is directed by Yoshimitsu Ohashi, known for directing Code Geass, Roz of the Recapture, with music composed by Kevin Penkin, acclaimed for his work on Made in Abyss, and animation by Studio Daisy. The anime will premiere in Japan on August 24th and will later be released on Giguk's YouTube channel as well, alongside a behind-the-scenes documentary about the making of the anime. Some very good marketing. Honestly, it's baffling that industry insiders haven't used YouTube marketing before. It seems like such an easy open goal, but hey, I guess that was the industry dragging 10 years behind. Still, this is particularly really cool, just because of how well connected this really is to the industry. And it shows that potential Geeks Plus creators don't have to already have, you know, a full history in making it themselves to be able to make something themselves. Giguk being, of course, an OG anime YouTuber, iconic previously for their abridged series stuff, anime reviews, and yearly recaps that I'm a particular fan of. Actually, they were partially an inspiration for the DazzReviews channel at times. Also, they're crazy about isekai anime, so what a surprise they've made their own kind of isekai anime. They're also most notably, I assume at this point, known for the Trash Taste podcast they're attached to, which is integral to Geeks Plus as a whole, as being the flagship piece to act as a hub for international content creation in Tokyo. As for the production details and crew members we talked about earlier, Studio Daisy have previously worked on Yoru no Kuni, but generally don't have a crazy breadth of anime stuff they've done, which to me just means they have all the potential to be really good. And having a Code Geass director certainly doesn't hurt. Actually, the thing that really stands out to me in looking at this show is how it's so clearly going for like that emotional weighty stuff, which I am just such a sucker for. There are loads of stories that are just, here's the action story, and then off they go doing the actiony story stuff, but this is clearly going for like that anime movie vibe that's probably gonna make you cry somehow. It's got a relatively simple premise, 2 worlds connected, they leave their birthplaces, they don't feel like they fit in, they swap roles, you know, you can see it all coming together. But if it really hits to punch you in the gut, then I can tell this will be great. I guess I'll watch it even if it's a show in 2D. I don't hate 2D that much, I'm just joking. As for Kevin Penkin, the one doing the music, along with Made in Abyss, they also worked on the likes of Tower of God Season 2, Shield Hero Season 3, and an episode of Star Wars Visions, which is pretty cool. This story is as well apparently based on Southeast Asia and Thai mythology, which is really cool to see. Seeing some of the inspirations and influences from the main creator working on it is cool to see, and it's of course original storytelling. And it's only out in like a month and a half, which is crazy fast. I think really this show is the one that's got the most eyes on it, not only because it's got the biggest guy attached to it, but also I think it's going to be a real marker of how a social media presence will affect the success of this show. We've seen all sorts of examples like it before, like the Markiplier sleeping show that was on Amazon, got to like top 3 when they requested top 10, and now, by the way, is missing and on Tubby instead. You know, the industry loves to kick you down. But if this becomes anywhere close to as big a success as it probably will be, this is such an open door for future things. And then finally, the third show we have to talk about is this one here. Otchan Rabbit Season. Created by Studio OtakuVS, this is a fast-paced, genre-blending anime following the chaotic exploits of its titular protagonist Otachan. Joined by her mysterious camera woman, Cam, and a very reluctant convenience store worker, Con, the girls find themselves working at a shady bunny girl bar when a deadly encounter with a Yakuza member goes sideways, and they're thrown into a violent underworld of mad scientists, fight clubs, and cold-blooded killers with just 24 hours to survive. Influenced by the anime of the late 80s and early 2000s, Otachan Rabbit Season is part of Studio OtakuVS' mission to revive the lost art of gritty, high-quality OVAs. Hell yeah, I can get behind that. It's so nice as well to see these 3 shows have 3 completely unique aesthetics that I'm sure they're just playing around with to see what sticks, but also outright bringing out the diversity right out of the gates, showing that they can make any story they want if it's good enough in any format. Now, similar to SoulMart, there's not a lot of other information attached to this. Giguk's getting all the marketing, surprise, surprise. But we do know a good bit about OtakuVS himself, as they are an indie anime studio blending internet subculture with traditional animation, producing original series inspired by 90s anime and digital culture, combining hand-drawn animation with chaotic humor and a unique space for classic anime aesthetics and modern internet storytelling. And I just can't say it enough, this is so damn exciting. I'm all for any indie production that makes its way in front of me. It's nice to hear such an underdog story, but this is loud and proud. Blasting into the industry, connected to the industry, coming out with 3 shows at once with such diverse aesthetics, running with the creators that are making it, I assume doing all sorts of social media presence as well. I mean, they announced it at Anime Expo, they're already in. This is so far masterfully started, and I can't wait to see the potential of where this goes from here. Also, they have a merch line sold at an AF booth and online already. Of course they have. They know what they're doing. There's also, of course, all sorts of other notable voice casts put into these different projects, so it's just going to all the highest channels it can. And hey, maybe this leads to a real rise of VTuber shows actually existing. Professor Goo's already a VTuber, and they made a music video for Iron Mouse, so Iron Mouse the movie is probably the easiest, most popular example you can guess. But either way, being able to swoop up such a creative department of the YouTube world in anime YouTubers and animating YouTubers, and putting it into official industry-powered stuff, oh man, this is really stuff. And the question is this gonna be impactful enough to be branching out for a new part of the industry world? In a way, it is kind of corporate in that it's already kind of mixed with the industry, but I'd still define, say, The Amazing Digital Circus as indie, despite its direct Netflix ties as well. And I'm of the opinion that there's going to be a real rise of indie stuff from this and in general. If GeeXProductions and GeeXProductions, God, why do they sound similar, get their own powerhouses, you know there's going to be more studios trying to take a pick of that. At a time when originals die in theater but thrive on streaming as well, it's an interesting discussion in all sorts of places. And streaming's so adjacent to social media as well. And of course, anime itself is typically streamed, not theatrical. I genuinely think there's a real thirst for originals and indies if there's a platform for it that's accessible. And pushing ahead with content creators at the forefront is just a marketing goldmine. It's been a long and uphill battle in the past, with examples like RWBY hitting all possible hurdles along the way. But even that's getting a revival of sorts. Sometimes it really does feel like the best way to make it in the industry these days is to just do it yourself. Whether it be be with GeeXProductions and their trajectory, or now with GeeXProductions up there instead. It is endlessly refreshing, and even from just this showcase of 3 projects, it is so clear that there is some real magic and art coming back to the medium. And I really hope these all pay off well for them. And with the door open to many more opportunities and projects, I just find this endlessly exciting. Though I do have a thing for 3D more than anything, so I'll particularly be keeping a close eye on those type of things. But hey, I'm a big fan of Geeks Plus creators, and I've very much fallen down the VTuber rabbit hole in some places. So if more creators adjacent to that genre start rolling things out, yeah, I'd be 100% on board with some of that. Just combine the 2 things I already consume, creators and animations. Either way, it's certainly a new venture worth keeping an eye on, so I will. For now though, my name's been Daz, thank you very much for reaching the end of this video. Do tell me your thoughts on a brand new indie production coming out of the walls. I guess that's one way to describe it. I'd love to hear all your thoughts and more, and I shall see you all in a little bit. Cheerio!